Hey, no.
There he is. Harry Dunn, everybody.
Hold on, there we hold on. I think you got me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Where are you?
Good. How you doing, man?
Great to connect. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation for a quick chat.
Yeah, last minute invitation.
It's like, is there anything less thoughtful?
You know, no. I can't think of anything less thoughtful than that. But it's thoughtful. Not entirely, but it's thoughtful. You know, perspective, man. At least you thought of me.
You should be given much more respect. I want to think. I want you to give me an example of another time when that's happened at all in your life. Like you were on the bubble for a wedding, and then they're like, maybe the Harry Dunn will be able.
You know what? This might make you feel bad, but I mean, most people in my life think highly of me. They don't wait till the last second to think about
it. Wow, I really thought you were going to give me a decent example, but that was literally the meanest thing you could have said, actually.
You know what? It's Washington, D.C., so
yeah.
I may have been the last minute guy, but I'll never know, you know?
Were you ever picked last in a sport?
No, because I'm 6'7", and I've always been tall.
Right.
So I was a bum. I may have been a bum. He was like, hey, he's tall. So. Well,
this is a losing effort for me, so let me just get right to it.
But for once, it's great to talk to you. I missed you, man.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you too, man. We've been kind of liking each other's posts and DMing a little bit, but I loved our first conversation, and I'm really happy to see you still out there talking. I saw you on MSNBC last night, and that is what gave me the idea. I was like, man, how did I not to think, thinking about the hearings and so on. So my first official question is, how often does January 6th in your heart and mind? Is it daily? Is it hourly? Is it sometimes not there?
For me, it's daily, and I'm not necessarily making it out to be as this. I'm constantly reliving it every single day and stuff like that. But no, there's not a day go by that I don't at least acknowledge it. You know, I mean, even a somber reminder is there's a makeshift, or not even a makeshift. It's a very nice permanent memorial for the officers that we lost, Brian Sicknick and Billy Evans. That was after January 6th. There's a memorial downstairs right outside of our detail office. So that's a constant reminder daily of those guys, those two brave officers who are no longer with us anymore. So yeah, it's not a day goes by that I don't think about it in some capacity.
Do people, I asked you this the first time I talked to you, but do people recognize you and say things, and if so, what?
Yeah, it's funny. A couple of my coworkers have teased me about it because they've been standing around, and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, it's you, the hero." And I'm like, wait, we're all heroes. It's like three of us here. Don't just single. They're like, no, yeah, all of y'all, but yeah, you. So, I mean, they tease me about it. There's a couple of them call me in a loving fashion, Hollywood or whatever. But some people ask, come and take pictures with me, and it's nice to be acknowledged, right? But I'm just doing my job, man. So.
Yeah, you never wanted it. You'd have been fine without it. You had a master's degree in what do you have your master's? Yeah. You have your master's degree in a thing. I forget what it is. You'll tell me, but that doesn't seek fame and recognition.
Public health. When I was at school, public health. So this whole COVID-19 thing was right up my alley.
Right. So that must be epic ball busting every time. I would just be relentless. I am also a Capitol Police officer. Hello. Hi. Over here. They look at me. They're like, you're not even 5'8". Are you sure? You're not even fully a man. So how will you be taking in the hearings tonight? You and I are talking this the afternoon before. And what do you hope that they discover, that they affect?
I'm going to be attending in person. I will be doing media, a couple of programs, obviously, to talk about it. I like to leave my opinion out of stuff of this magnitude, like, especially where you have a voice and a platform. I mean, I'm sure people listen to your opinion, but that's I think in this world, that's why we're in so much trouble, because everybody has a platform and everybody has an opinion. And that's all these opinions, people take them as fact and as gospel. Like, people are saying like the January 6th committee isn't legitimate, and it's not. That's somebody's opinion, but it's 100% legitimate when it comes to the facts. So that's what I'm very interested in tonight, the facts about what happened on January 6th, prior to January 6th, and even after January 6th. It's a fact-finding mission for me, and that's what I hope to, just the facts. And that's all the people should care about, is the facts. Nobody's opinion, nobody out here trying to score points or whatever. Just if the facts lead you to say that X person was responsible for this and X person did that, and that's the facts.
Yeah.
So I'm very matter of fact when it comes to this. Like, all these people I've been reading, like, people calling it kangaroo court and, well, I'm not going to watch. And you know what? I don't give a damn if you watch or not. Like, the facts are still going to, just because you're not going to watch does not mean that they don't have their duty to investigate this. And ultimately, and I guess this will be the result of all the hearings, putting measures in place to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Right. That's so probably unlikely, because you would have to get those measures through the U.S. Senate, but the House will pass them, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly the most important point with anything like this. With any of these commissions, investigations on any horrible thing that happens to the country, you want an investigation into what caused it, and then you want safeguards put in place to prevent it from happening again. That would be the best outcome. But yeah, you talk about opinions and platforms, and you're exactly right about that. How do you feel that, with the most watched cable news network isn't even going to be airing these hearings, and on what I refer to as Earth 2, even though you're right, the facts are the facts. If you don't hear them, are they facts, Harry?
But that's the thing, though. Like, the facts still exist, whether you hear them, believe them, accept them. They still, like, sure, you could create this entire universe all you want. Like, that's fine. Well, I mean, it's not fine, but I mean, but the truth is the truth. And if anybody, that's the thing, like, if I'm having a discussion or even an argument with somebody, it's somebody that you may believe something like different, but you're not living in this alternative universe or this alternative world or whatever. And you saw Jack Del Rio's comments about it being a dust up. So I don't have anything to say with somebody who categorizes that day as a dust up or they got out of hand, because the facts are there, the video's there. So if you're categorizing as that means you're willfully ignorant.
Yeah,
you're making a choice because there's footage, there's videos, there's people who took pleas, who pled guilty to these heinous crimes that one side is claiming didn't even exist.
I want to ask you one specific question, maybe get your opinion on. You hear this argument a lot. Jack Del Rio, who seems like a real nice guy, also said this, comparing the protests and some of the violence and damage, property destruction of the summer of 2020 after George Floyd's murder in the wake of the Black Lives Matter protests. Del Rio also compared to that. Lots of people say, why don't we investigate those? To your view, as a black man and as a Capitol Police officer who was there on January 6th, how do you see that comparison?
So let's talk about that for a second. Sure, he wants to have a discussion. Let's talk about it real quick. How many people, and this is what I know, I looked it up because I wasn't 100% sure, and there were over thousands, 2,000, I believe one of the numbers I saw, I'm not speaking gospel here, but this is something I believe to be accurate. But I saw over 2,000 people were arrested and charged with felonies for their destruction and their roles of the destruction of property and, buildings and violence throughout those summer riots across the whole United States. So let's not act like there were no consequences. These people just went free. I mean, like, what type of investigation do you want?
My issue is always the protests and everything that happened. The impetus was crying out for civil and human rights and to fight against injustice, if you will.
Correct. Yeah, the difference of the cause of it is, ridiculously, it's not even comparable, right? One person's like, yo, I just want to be treated fair.
Yeah.
And one person just saying, I want it my way all the time. Like, you can't even compare the two.
Yeah. One of them is dealing with a problem that's existed in this country since its origin. And we've seen this forever, the civil rights movement. One is the civil rights movement, and the other is a lie about the election that caused people to attack the Capitol and try to overthrow the decision. They couldn't be. Yeah.
I think it's important, though, to also, acknowledge, like, I don't mind this. I'll support, I'll say publicly, the Black Lives Do Matter, but I don't encourage, condone, support violence or destruction of property and all that stuff. I don't do it. It's not okay. So for him to minimize what we went through at the Capitol, to put a spotlight to make his irrelevant point stand out more is very disingenuous.
Yeah.
Don't minimize what we went through.
Well, yes, I guess I never really thought of this, but some blue lives matter.
Yeah, right? Exactly. But that's the thing, both things can be right.
Of
right?
course. Yes.
The police officers from Portland or Minnesota who defended their cities, they're heroes too, sure. But don't you dare minimize what we went through or pit us against each other, saying, well, this is a real insurrection. What? Get on my face. That's the thing. I'm not having those discussions with people who think like that. I won't have a discussion with those type of people. I will not do it.
Joining
so
me,
I'm just all right, you're crazy.
Joining me now on the phone, Jack Del Rio. Jack, you're on with Harry Dunn.
Crickets.
Click. He hangs up. Last question, Harry. How often do you think about January 6th happening again at the place that you work at, the United States Capitol?
That's a good question. While I do believe that it could happen again, I'm an optimistic person, and maybe this is just me being an optimist, but I pray to God that it doesn't happen again. So I don't think about it often, while I do acknowledge that it is possible that it could happen again.
Yeah, I said this last question. Do you want people to watch these hearings tonight?
Yeah. Everybody should know. Everybody should be watching. However, people are so polarized, right? Or we think that everybody's polarized. The largest population of voters in the world are non-voters, right? So are they really polarized, or they just don't give a damn?
It's a great question.
So yes, I want people to watch it. You're not gonna make somebody vote Democrat based off the findings of these hearings. Or you're not gonna make a Republican vote Democrat you're not gonna make a Democrat vote Republican. That's not gonna happen from this hearing. You want to target people who don't normally engage in stuff like this, and you want them to realize how close we were to you having the choice not to vote, not even being a choice.
It's a great point. It makes me think that I hope this hearing goes the way of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial on TikTok.
Right? Yeah, yes. Yeah, everybody would engage in that, and I don't even know why the hell. Jesus, I learned more about the two individuals that I wanted to know, and I didn't even watch it.
Are you? Can you name any Johnny Depp film or even television show? There was a big show when we were younger.
I mean, of course, Jack Sparrow, right?
Yeah, there you go. Well, somebody's
of course, that, right?
Somebody's a huge fan, apparently.
No, shut up, man.
Harry.
No, I mean, whatever, man.
It's
better, man.
You point out the apathy, and that's a great audience as to who needs to see this. And yeah, if it can go viral on TikTok or anywhere else, if it can be well produced, that'd be great. I'm so grateful that you took my call and that you're still on the job and that you're speaking out so much. And look forward to. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say thanks so much, man. It means a lot to me. I love being thought about at the last minute, and I thank you for that.
This is the last episode of my show. There is no recovery. I need it. I'm gonna take a week off.
Dude, you owe me some bourbon, dude. You make that happen, and I'll forgive you.
What do I have to do?
We talking about you owe me some bourbon.
Oh, right. Yes. Did you name
you give me my bourbon? We'll call it even.
Yeah. Did you name the brand again?
All of them.
Okay. A potpourri. You got it. I'm sorry. I dropped the ball on that as well. Boy, I am the worst. Okay. Harry,
but you know what? I chose to do your show. I love you, man. You're great, buddy.
You're the best, Harry. I really appreciate it, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Anytime, man. Reach out anytime.
All right.